The story of an American convert who was an atheist and dreamed of prostrating himself in the mosque. Of the many stories of people who received guidance to become converts, Matthew Joseph Martin is one of them who has gone through various religious experiences on his journey to find God. Having never believed in the existence of God, Matthew, who came from a Christian family, told his father and pastor that he did not believe that Jesus was a God worthy of worship. "I don't believe in your God. God doesn't exist," said Matthew, quoted from YouTube, Renung Kalbu, Tuesday 6 September 2022. Matthew even wanted to prove for himself the existence of God, which his family had always believed in. Until one day, he asked God to give him a sign about his whereabouts. "I prayed, and I said, 'Hey God, if you're around, you better send me a sign. You better prove it to yourself, otherwise I won't believe in you,' Matthew said." Matthew said that he had come to the priest at church and said that it was difficult for him to accept the existence of God. However, Matthew was actually surprised by the response of the priest, who sincerely looked into his eyes. "Maybe someday you will feel the presence of God," said the priest. After that, Matthew didn't think about anything about God and his beliefs for a long time. Matthew, who was still a teenager at that time, admitted that he did a lot of mischief, such as disobeying his father and even taking drugs. One day, Matthew sat alone with his father and discussed what they were going to do. He was given two choices, namely to stop consuming marijuana or leave his house. "I left his house and looked for my own apartment," Matthew said. Matthew chooses to live alone in a simple apartment. However, various mystical events occurred where he lived, like hearing the sound of knocking on the door or other people's footsteps. Matthew, who still doesn't believe in God, is also reluctant to believe in the existence of spirits. He shifted his thoughts and thought the strange noises were caused by the wind or people from outside, until one day, there was a knock on the door that felt very scary. Matthew explained. The voice seemed to be walking towards him and made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. He started to feel scared and called his father to pick him up. "Luckily, my dad is a patient man, so when I called him, he immediately came to pick me up," said Matthew. As soon as he got into the car, his father again advised Matthew that he should ask God for help at times like that. "You know, Matthew, if you believe in God and ask for protection, then God will protect you," said Matthew's father. After experiencing this horror incident, Matthew admitted that it was the first time he learned about the existence of a world that he could not see and explain. A year passed. Matthew began to look into religion. He studied Hinduism and Buddhism, but did not want to return to Christianity. Matthew also started looking for work, and he again felt God's presence when he needed him. Matthew applies for a job at a company, but the company rejects employees who have a history of drugs. Matthew was pessimistic about his chances. After 2 days of interviews, Matthew didn't even get a call from the company. He finally surrendered to God. "Okay, God, I understand I was very arrogant. I shouldn't have smoked weed and I missed out on this great job. Therefore, please forgive me. I'm so sorry, God," said Matthew. An accident happened. Matthew got a call to start work a day later. Unfortunately, the job didn't last long, and he decided to build his own business. After going through many things with God's involvement in them, Matthew still couldn't believe in his existence. He admitted that at that time he felt like he was floating without confidence. "To be honest, I don't practice any religion. I never returned to Christianity because, as I said, I don't believe Jesus is God," he said. As time went by, Matthew met the woman he loved. The woman from Iraq asked him to convert to Islam if Matthew wanted to marry her. Following his lover's wishes, Matthew decided to start studying Islam. But unfortunately, his relationship with his lover ended before the wedding. His journey to find Islam did not stop. Matthew began to feel comfortable and seemed to have found a way out of what he had been looking for all this time. "The more I learn about Islam, the more I realize, wow, this is just like what I believe. This is great," said Matthew revealed that he received guidance while he was sleeping, where he dreamed of visiting a mosque and praying. Matthew prostrated himself in his dream. "When I woke up, I said, okay, this is a sign. I will convert to Islam," he said. Since embracing Islam, Matthew has begun to adapt and learn many things such as how to pray, He admitted that he had never visited a mosque for more than a year because he didn't know what to do there. Matthew finally met a friend who invited him to go to the mosque and taught him a lot about Islam. It was there that Matthew finally found the confidence in God he had been searching for so long.